Whoop. Hey guys, how's it going today? We've got a motorcycle ergonomics comparison video for you. Hopefully you can hear me okay because I'm going to be a little far away from the camera today. But we're going to be looking at the difference between a cruiser, a naked bike or standard bike, and a sport bike. So we'll see what the difference is here. I'll start out with a wide angle here, sitting in each one. And then I'll go close up from a point of view here on each bike so you guys can see what the difference is. I know a lot of people have questions about this. I know I did too. And now that I happen to have all three different types in my stable here, I figured I'd make a video with all of them in it so you can see the difference just from a wide perspective and a close perspective. So let's start with the Suzuki Boulevard M109R. We're going to go from the least aggressive to the most aggressive seating position. So this is considered a muscle cruiser. So some cruisers, you know, are back like this. This is a little more forward lean. And I've got a little ram mount right here. Works pretty good. You just put your phone in, stretches out right here. Works on all kinds of sizes of phone, even this Fold 3. All right, so here's the leg situation here on the M109R, if you can see it. All right. This is kind of how it looks. Your leg goes around the intake there, the air intake, and you kind of sit like this. I know it looks a little bow-legged, but it's not really. And come up here. Here's a look with where your hands are sitting, right? My arm, you can bend your arm a little bit, and you're kind of looking down at the tank here, about like this. You're looking out at the road like that. And it's really a pretty comfortable place to be honest with you guys. This is also a very fast motorcycle. I think the first impressions video of this is probably going to be up first before this ergonomics video. But here's what we're looking at. I'll switch legs here so you can see my left leg as well. This one actually tends to hit this air cleaner more than my right leg does, oddly enough. Got some dust on the pant leg there. See how I'm kind of bumping it right here? That could maybe be mitigated by a different aftermarket part there than the one the previous owner installed, but I am not sure. I have not swapped it. Pretty comfortable. This is the most comfortable out of the three, I would say, if you're going to do a really long trip. Only thing about cruisers is, be careful, some cruisers have these pipes here, and you can burn your leg, right? Which I guess is kind of a part of ergonomics, but not really. So this is the most comfortable of the three. You got your foot out in front of you, legs slightly bent, hands slightly below your shoulders, or even with your shoulders just about, depending on how tall you are. If you're a taller guy, they'll be below, right? Okay, so just for clarification, I am 5'10", about 190 pounds, and my inseam is about a 32. So that will give you some reference points here as to me sitting on the bikes, right? Oh, also here's the seat on the cruiser. It's pretty huge. Here's for perspective. Here's my hand, right? So this is and I have about a large glove size or so, large or XL. This is a massive seat. So this is very comfortable, very supportive. You'll have no problems doing long miles on this bike. I mean, more comfortable than this, I guess, would probably be, a Goldwing or something like that, or a dedicated touring bike. But for me, this is probably the most comfortable seat I've ever had in a motorcycle, because I've had mostly those kind of bikes. All right, so here we are on the CB1000R. This is a 2011, and you've got more of an upright seating position. I can flat foot on both sides, and I'm 5'10" here. I can flat foot on that as well, but that's a much lower seat. So your foot on this guy, hopefully you can see black pants here, but your foot on this guy here sits about, you have a bit of a bend to your knee, but not, significantly more than a cruiser, but not as much as that, but we'll see, you'll see that here. Now here, my hands are definitely beneath my shoulders, and I've got a bit of a lean forward, right? You don't want to be riding straight armed like this either. You want to have a little bit of a bend to your arm. And here is the leg situation here on this bike from a first person perspective. There's the bend on the leg. This is this is using the shifter. This is back when you're riding aggressively, up on your toes, right? And here is the angle of my arm. coming down just slightly below my elbows. And you got a little bit of a lean. This is a pretty comfortable place to be too, though, all told. Not as comfortable, of course, as the Cruiser back there, but much more comfortable than that. So here is my right leg here. This is while using the brake in the back of the aggressive position, right? So there's quite a bit of a bend to your knee on this. It's significantly more than the Cruiser, but it's still pretty comfortable. Even though it looks like it might be kind of cramped, it's not bad. Your arm. Now, if you're cruising for a while, you can go one arm here, and you're completely upright and take a break, right? Or if you want to tuck, you can scoot your butt back a bit, and you can go like this. You can tuck on this too. There's no windscreen, but you can tuck on this too a little bit if you want to, right? This bike is pretty comfortable. I've ridden, I don't know, a couple hours on this or something like that, and it's perfectly fine. The seat is not as comfortable as a big Cruiser seat, of course, but you can do it. You can move around a little bit. You know, you can slide forward, slide back. It's fine. This is a pretty comfortable motorcycle. I got to do a ride review of this bike yet, but this bike is probably the best all-around bike I've had, except for dirt, of course. But this is a great all-around bike. So this is the most neutral position. This is a good, like, do-everything bike. Your naked bike, your standard bike. You can hit some twisties with this. You can cruise with it. You can be comfortable for a long trip for the most part. And with the exception being, this has a back seat on it, but it's not very fun for passengers. It's that passenger seat just isn't great on that bike. Next up, we've got a 2001 Hayabusa, and this is the Gen 1. And I do have a back seat for this as well, but this has the speed hump on it right now. So we'll get on this guy here. And as you can probably tell, the rear sets, my knee is a little more bent than the CB1000R. It's not terribly so, but it's definitely higher. That one is probably about like here. Maybe I'll do a little back-to-back shot here of them. I took some shots earlier, stills. So your feet are a little higher, knees are a little bit more bent, and then you're much more leaned over on this bike. So you see a lot of guys, or some guys out there riding with straight arms like this because they're getting tired or whatever, but don't do that. Like, you want to keep a bend in your arms when you're riding a sport bike. And to take a break, then you go up on one arm here, take a break, put your hand here or something, or lean on it, something like that to take a break. And then you can take a bit of a backrest. But this is the most aggressive. Now, with this bike, I'll show you in a second with the close-up, the bars, the clip-ons, are above the triple tree in this bike. So there are other sport bikes, a lot of other sport bikes, where the bars are underneath the triple, underneath the clamp, and you're down here, right? You're like this. This bike is like this. So you can get a much more aggressive bike than this Hayabusa as well, if you so desire. And here is my left leg on this. So you are, slightly further back than on the CB1000R. And here is operating the lever, about like that. And then here's back in more aggressive riding position. And here is see how low the clip-ons are compared to a naked bike. Now, what I was saying before about the clip-ons being above the triple here, on a lot of sport bikes like the Kawasaki ZX6R and things like that, the clip-ons here, the bars, are beneath, so they're under here. So then your hands will be, instead of being up here, your hands will be down here, right? So you'll be even more aggressive. And I do have a set of like Healy bars, type, I got them off of eBay, I think for like $50, but they're made in the USA. And those you can use on these bikes to raise the bars a bit, so they go in, and there's like a little Z piece that comes up right here and angles towards you and comes over, so the bars will be about here, which would be really nice. It's like 1 1/5 inches or something like that lift. Like total, it's like 1 inch up and 5/8 out or something like that. I'll have to look again exactly. Here's the left arm here, and that's what that looks like there. And you're kind of down, so when you're in riding position, see I'm kind of sitting up straight here, but actually when you're riding, see I'm not even really grabbing the whole thing, the whole handle, you're down like this, right? There's a grill. You're down like this here, looking out over the bike. And I really enjoy this riding position, even though I haven't had many of these bikes. I do enjoy this for hitting the back roads, to be honest with you guys, more than, I hate to say it, more than the street bikes or the standard bikes, I mean the naked bikes. I think I enjoy this more. So here your your knee is quite bent, your elbows are bent, your stomach is touching the tank here. You can slide back even more if you want to. And then you're even more aggressive and you're tucked beneath the windscreen, right? Like this. So this is the most aggressive seating position, of course, of the three. And I would say for me, I haven't had a lot of sport bikes. I've had mostly naked bikes, to be honest with you guys. You guys know who watch the channel. I've had mostly, you know, standard bikes, naked bikes, things like that. But with that bike, I'm on that about an hour, and I'm ready to get off. Basically, I'm ready to get off the bike and take a break, and then I can get back on again. But after about an hour, I'm ready for like my hip flexors to take a break and stretch out, you know, to kind of give my rhomboids a break and stuff. And I'm sure I'll get used to it more as I ride it more. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. And everybody's different though. Some guys can ride these things for 4 hours. It just depends on the person, right? But yeah, it's not. It's the least comfortable of the three, for sure. And I'm looking at a CBR 929. I had 929RR, an old 01 guy. And that will be, I believe on that one, unless I'm mistaken, I think the bars are beneath the triple, like I was saying. So it'll be even more aggressive. But we'll see. We'll talk about that when we get it here on the channel. So there's all three bikes there lined up. And yeah, it's definitely an order of distance you can go without needing a break. Would be the M109R cruiser style, right? The naked bike, the CB1000R, and then the Hayabusa, which is a sport bike. Although this is a very comfortable sport bike by sport bike standards, because this seat also is incredibly comfortable on this bike compared to, I think this seat is more comfortable than the CB1000R seat, to be totally honest with you guys. But the bars and the angle you're sitting at is definitely not. It's just the seat itself for your butt is the padding in this. This is a great seat. I don't know, I'm incredibly impressed by it. But I think that's about all that I've got for you guys today. So let me flip this camera around here, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching again. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like this content and want to see more of it. And just let me know if you have any questions about any of these bikes. Or I'm always looking for different bikes too. So let me know if there's any specific bike that you guys would like to see on the channel. There's quite a bit for sale in this area, and I'm probably going to end up trading one of these out for another one once, you know, we make a lot of content with it and such. I think I'm going to end up moving the Hayabusa and stuff, just because it's, you know, it's maybe a little heavy for me. It's a cool bike though, but I'm looking for kind of a lighter sport bike to hit the twisties with here, and that bike is awesome. I do enjoy it. But yeah, so we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye. Ooh.